Hello, everybody, and welcome to There's a Will. It's a talk show, and today we're going to talk to Craig Smith from EuropaProperty.com. But, you know, that doesn't tell even a part of the story. Because, Craig, you are much bigger even than EuropaProperty.com.
Oh, I keep getting bigger over the lockdown.
Yeah,
I think I became 2 kilos bigger. So,
yeah. They call me Mr. Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkin. Oh,
I don't
that's
like
nice.
that.
That's like a... Is that a fruit or a vegetable?
I went to see my doctor. You know what he said to me?
Yeah.
My doctor says, open your mouth and say oink.
Oh, well, good. Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Are you sure it's not a veterinarian?
But he's a bigger, fatter guy than me.
Yeah, I think we're going to the same one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we do. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course I do.
Sorry about that, Merrick.
He's not a small guy.
I call him jovial.
Yeah, very jovial. Yeah.
Because Nicholas Richardson told me to say that. It means short and round.
I miss not having Nick
but
with
I thought
us.
that should be ovial.
Ovial.
Not jovial, because
jovial.
he said it means round. And
Right, that is, I guess they could, that's a nice way of saying round.
yeah, jovial.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ovial.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not very nice, probably.
Yeah, I know. We're starting off with a light motif here. I haven't seen you in quite a while, but you've been running your business online.
Yeah, well, we moved all the events, because we're doing events and magazines, as you know.
Yeah.
And like I would say most, if not all the event businesses, they just disappeared off the market. So we decided not to disappear, and we moved everything online. And, you know, pretty much the little team we have has been working really hard, like little hamsters on the wheel. And we've been putting all the events online and even adding some. So we've probably done 20 events in the last 2 or 3 months online. And the clients like them, so we continue doing them. Yeah, so it's been a lot of work, actually. I'll be ready for summer vacation when it rolls around.
I bet, because you just haven't stopped. You've been steamrolling through. But it's actually probably harder to do it online in a sense.
It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
It's, you know, well, one, you just don't have control over the technology. And
Right.
sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, I guess. But for us, we've been pretty lucky, and you know, luck and just a lot of hard work making sure that it happens correctly. So we've been doing that, and you know, we're probably the only company that's not changing the event dates or postponing them or to a date that never is going to happen or just, you know, canceling them. We've just set it up so it's either going to be at a location, if we can do it, or it'll be online, but the date stays the same.
Yeah, you've just been bulldozing your way through it.
It just, you know, yeah,
And
like
how
always.
do the clients respond to that? They're mostly commercial real estate people.
Yeah, they're all commercial real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like anything, but I would say 95% of them very happy and very, well, they're all very happy now, but up until they actually see how it happened, I would say 95% of them put up with it. And then really after the events, we really get a lot of comments back, even more than when we did them in a location traditionally. They're just like, wow, this really worked well.
They're more appreciative, perhaps, because you made the effort.
Yeah, we get.
And you kept your clients by doing that.
And
That's
we kept our clients, and we kept our promises and what we're going to deliver. So
crazy,
you know, it's not been easy, and definitely put a few, you know, extra wrinkles on, but got it done. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And continuing.
But you're not only a property consultant and magnate in promotion of commercial real estate. You're also you've been doing some boxing, haven't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not doing one. I'm not consulting on anything. We just get the quotes from the great consultants and investors and put it out, and then you know, doing a bit of boxing here and there. And
no, it's like business boxing. It's like for charity, isn't it?
Yeah. So not real. Not you know.
It is for charity, not like for charity.
Yeah. The charity guys. But no, I'm back training because my trainer's back in action. So we've been going at it.
Who's your trainer? Just some guy? Or?
Yeah, very nice guy, Archer. Yeah. He's national, he was on the national team for Georgia. He's here doing training, so he's
super.
Yeah, so he's really good. And
well, it's good exercise, isn't it?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm basically getting beat up.
For how long?
An hour.
An hour's enough. That's a lot of.
That's enough.
You get tired. I mean, you know, just having your arms up, you know, even 3 minutes in a fight is a lot.
Yeah.
But I was going to say the. I think the guy who's run is Julian
Shimofsky, yeah. Julian, he runs the...
Who happens to also to be a comedian. It's not all just a big joke.
He is a comedian, and his brothers are comedians.
His brother's very funny, too. Yeah, I remember his brother and starting in stand-up a few years ago.
Yeah, they're comedians, and Julian does these boxing events around the country, yeah.
And what made him start doing this, do you think?
Well, you know, I think he just saw I mean, I don't know, but I think he just saw an opportunity, and he came and asked, you know.
He's very busy with it, because I tried to get him in the studio, and we couldn't find a time.
He's just got too many things going on, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably working on the ones, you know, in the future, yeah.
I should get his brother in if he's more available to talk with some of his jokes. He's very funny.
Yeah, he is. It's probably just you're trying to get him on a Saturday, and they're probably busy, yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
He couldn't come. No, actually, then it was like a Wednesday. But he was organizing all the time.
Yeah, he has a lot of events. Right?
I saw him at the Louis C.K.
At the what?
Louis C.K.
Yeah? What's
did
that?
a gig in Warsaw.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Louis the comedian did a gig in Warsaw last summer.
Uh-huh.
And I went along, you know, just at the last moment, just snuck in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Julian, who was actually sitting next to me.
Oh, yeah. Julian's probably at a lot of these stand-up things, because he is the comic and kind of like tries to organize some stuff here too.
I think he was in the committee that brought him here or something.
Probably, yeah. I know he's active in it.
I saw Bill Burr here as well.
Yeah,
he's a great comedian too.
All right.
So I've seen two of the greats, both gingers.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Gingerheads.
Well, maybe that's what makes them funny anyway.
Yeah, you got to be funny if you got red hair.
Too bad we don't have Nick Richardson on. He's always funny.
Who's that?
Huh?
What?
That's the guy that's sometimes here with you.
Our producer?
Our producer, yeah.
If only we could hear his dulcet tones.
Yeah, he'd be great.
While we're talking now.
He's a great baker now, you know that?
I heard that he is baking. Now, they had a guy called Nicky the Greek. Now we have a guy called Nicky the Cook.
The cook, yeah. He looks like he's cooking loads of food.
Yeah, Nicky the Cook. And I saw him posting a lot of things on Facebook.
Yeah, every time I turn on Facebook, there's another really nice bit of food ready.
Yeah, but I'm a little annoyed because I gave him his start in the business. Mm-hmm. Does he remember?
He probably doesn't even know your name anymore.
No, he doesn't. He just ignores me.
Yeah,
I tried to get him on the show, and he wouldn't come. No, he's over there producing day.
Yeah.
But no, I asked him. I said, I'll buy one of those their pies from you.
Pies look good.
I'll buy one of them their pies. And he said, no, I have a long line. I said, but I have to make them probably for some ladies.
They're first.
Yeah, he's got to make them for the ladies, because the men are always better bakers when they put their mind to it.
Well, you know.
All the great chefs, let's face it.
Yeah, they're all men.
They're all men.
Yeah.
In fact, all the great No. Madame Curie.
We'll get
Somebody
some
out there's like,
protesters. We'll get some protesters out here.
Nah, it's going to be no good.
Yeah.
We got
Madame Curie.
Antifa will be outside.
Yeah.
Will hates women.
So how you doing?
Far from the case, as anyone who knows me would know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How have I been doing?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen you for a couple weeks.
Well, I've been writing
months,
a book.
Yeah. Oh,
I've been writing a book, and I made a lot of progress. And doing another TV show, which I can't talk about yet.
Ooh, so tell me about it.
I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't talk about it. Another TV show for one of the stations.
Send me my lines. I'll practice them.
Okay. You should be on it. But in the future. But what else? Writing some songs. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be doing a record.
Wow. Okay.
With Guy Pinson producing, actually.
Nice.
We're going to do a new record. He likes the material.
Yeah.
What
Guy's
else?
a mover and shaker in the city, so he's a good guy to work with.
No, he's amazing. Yeah. And then doing TV. I've been doing the travel stuff all the time, and also a little bit of business.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, here we are. I think by the time this goes out, it's going to be a little past. No, actually, this will be available next week.
We should start filming this live.
We should start filming it live. Yeah, it's better to be alive when you're filming.
It is better.
Yeah, because the alternative is unthinkable. Yeah.
And a little quieter.
You know what I hate about flying? I hate flying.
Yeah?
Yeah, you know why? I don't mind flying. Flying is amazing. It's the crashing and burning I don't like.
Yeah, right. Well, like what was it? Elon Musk said, I want to die on Mars, just not at impact.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I got a story for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Americans are going back to the
in
moon.
time.
Yeah,
back to the moon.
To the moon.
Okay.
Chances.
All right.
Yeah, they're going back to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And the Russians are very competitive, we know, yeah?
Yeah.
So the Russians decide they're going to the sun.
Good.
And somebody said, wait a second. One of the scientists, it's a little bit hot, isn't it? And the other guy goes, the head scientist goes, yeah, but we're going at night.
Right. That's better.
Yeah, we're going to go at night.
The Russians are good at that stuff.
Yeah, so
They're good at sneaking around.
they're
at
going
night.
to the sun at night, so that means it won't be so hot.
See, you can't get anything past the Russians. They're pretty
No,
smart.
but they have to go somewhere it's bigger than the moon. It's more of a challenge.
More power to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smart. They're smart
Yeah,
people.
see,
They're good
all
people.
right.
Yeah, the Russians are
We
okay.
should go at night too.
We should go to the dark side
To
of
the dark side of the
we're
sun.
going to the dark side.
Yeah.
No, but there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. I've been thinking about, we're humorous on the show, but we can be serious too, and we are serious from time to time.
Yeah.
But we don't take ourselves too seriously. I hope.
No one does, so
on
why
the
should
show.
we?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You'll be all by yourself then, isolated. But I was thinking about during this quarantine time about what's been going on this year, and of course we're preparing for an election, and all the craziness in the United States, for example, but also in Poland.
Yeah, everywhere.
Poland had
yeah.
parliamentary election. The British had election not long ago, but you had a parliamentary and a presidential election in Poland. It's a huge year for Poland.
Yeah, big election year for everywhere, it seems.
And
yeah,
also
yeah.
in the United States. So,
Yeah, the
and,
U.S., they're working on it, it seems, somehow. Yeah.
yeah, and with the relations between Poland and the U.S. getting closer and closer, it's a very good thing. I hope that continues.
I think it will.
I think it will.
I
with
think
this,
it will. You know, Trump is very pro-Poland, and the current government here is very pro-U.S. So
yeah, so certainly while they're in charge of the parliament, it will continue, and we'll see. Yeah.
yeah, because
but it's very good for Poland.
Yeah, the election here is coming in Poland is coming up at the end of the month, I think. Yeah, some
28th,
28th,
perhaps?
right? Mhm.
Is that it?
I think so. Not sure of the exact date, but I'm not
I
a
think
voter.
it's the
but,
28th,
okay.
but
we don't want to give people the wrong date. In
Anyone
case
can
they
check
miss
that,
it.
but it'll be in June. But not to talk too much about the election, we should probably get maybe somebody from who's actually in politics
that actually knows what they're doing.
That actually knows what they're talking
about. You
about.
can just complain about it. Yeah.
To do that. But I was thinking that with all that's been going on, if you look at the United States, they had the impeachment,
Right.
and then we all had the beginnings of the virus,
Sure.
and then that led to the shutdown and panic over finance, quite rightly.
Yeah, for the world. Yeah.
And then now we've had the riots, and it doesn't really. I mean, we're sitting in Poland. It's like an oasis. It's like being on some island
Yeah.
where everything's cool, more or less. And that is a really privilege, I think, in a way, to be here during
Poland's
this time.
definitely the place to be.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of investment pouring in. And they say that Poland's really going to benefit from what's happened, which is, I mean, if there is a benefit, certainly financially, Poland could benefit. Moving manufacturing, some of it here from China.
Sure.
And then Microsoft putting in over $1 billion in digital infrastructure. And
Yeah, it's a big investment.
yeah, and and from commercial property. Oh, actually, I wanted to ask you, how big is this, how much taller is that Warsaw? The Warsaw building is going to be the tallest building.
I understand it's the tallest in Europe, but at least the tallest in Central Europe. And you're going to ask how much taller it is than...
No, I'm not, because it's not a quiz. I think it's 209 meters. Will be the final, more or less final height. If they put antennas, I don't know. But so the actual building, 209 meters, which will make it the tallest outside of Moscow. And let's face it, not really in Europe, is it?
Well, at least Central Eastern Europe, I think it's the tallest. Yeah.
Yeah. And but how much taller is it than it is right now? Because I can't really tell.
You know, I'm not sure. I got to drive by. I'll drive by it and I'll let you know.
Let me know, because I'm curious, because it looks like it's taller.
We must be getting close to the top. I mean, it must be getting close, because now they're working on the other bits of it as well. So a lot of it's.
But all the cranes are right at the top. Does that mean it's finished?
I think it's getting to it must be at the top.
If the cranes are at the top, that means they're kind of finished.
Should be getting close, unless they make the cranes higher, because they do that too.
They do that too, but it has to be like another 20 floors on the Palace of Culture, the Marriott, which are pretty much the same without the spire on the Palace of Culture. So, I mean, the Marriott is just flat at the top. The Palace of Culture has a spire.
Right.
They're both about 40 floors properly.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think the Vars would be another 20 floors.
Probably, yeah, something like that.
Half
yeah,
again
it's
as
another,
big.
It's a big, it's a tall building.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're
Amazing.
working on it. You know, it looks like there's hundreds of people out there. You know, just little ant pile building it.
And construction hasn't stopped. That's one thing people forget. Construction didn't really stop.
You know, a lot of things. You mean during the
During the quarantine,
lockdown? Yeah,
which we're still in.
Yeah, we are
At this stage.
Yeah. Well, the construction never stopped in
First
Central
week of
Eastern
June,
Europe.
yeah.
I think it stopped. I mean, if you looked at Europe, I think construction stopped in Italy and maybe in Spain for a bit. But I think it's back. You know, it's all back. But it's pretty tough. You know, I think economically, it's very difficult to stop a construction project and hope it starts again. So they're I think around the whole we're covering 22 countries, and I don't think any of the projects stopped anywhere because of government making them stop. They might have stopped because
Are these guys social distancing when they're building?
yeah, they're
They wear masks anyway,
yeah, they
but
wear.
they
You know, a
often
lot
do.
of them wear masks anyway
Because
in
of
the
the
construction
dust and
sites.
everything,
Yeah, the
yeah.
dust. But no, there's a lot less people on some of these sites where maybe they had 1,000 or 1,000 people on. Maybe they have 300 or 400 now. So they have. You know, we know the construction companies pretty well, and the project management companies, of course, the developers, and they are keeping an eye on that. And there is a bit of social distancing, and some things just take longer because normally you need, like in some cases, 4 or 5 guys working together on something, and they can't really do that now. So some of the projects are taking a bit long, not all of them, but a bit longer just because of the actual physical things that need to be done. But they're full force working on them. Yeah.
So Poland's really, the point is that it's still growing rapidly. There's still huge amounts of investment. Hasn't even stopped during the quarantine, really, the commercial side anyway. And the investments are coming, as we said, you know, Microsoft, for example. But then there's this other side of things where things did stop. I mean, Poland's been very lucky. And you have to say that, I mean, every death, right, you know, especially if it's in your family,
yeah, for sure,
is a horror. I remember when my father died; it was a horrible time. But the fact that only around 1,000, 1,100 people have died is really, is it more? It's about the same as from the flu, isn't it?
Well, you know, a lot of these people may have had the flu.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily, you know, it's not saying that those 1,000 would be alive if there wasn't for corona. Some would, some wouldn't.
We don't know.
Yeah,
We don't know.
We don't know.
But there's just been so much confusing information and really a political divide. The people who want to keep going, and the people who think, oh boy, you got to stay in your house forever or close to forever.
Well, you know, there's death, actual death, as we know. But if you look at the deaths of companies and the companies that went into bankruptcy, that's not 1,000. That's tens of thousands.
Yeah, and this leads to all the other problems.
Yeah, no unemployment, and people, you know, you could die
Depression.
of the virus, or you could die of some starvation, let's say, or no job.
Bad
PTSD. You know, I think the whole
psychological
world.
problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Depression, etc. Well, having no money is a big psychological problem.
It's very stressful
for anyone, of course. So you feel badly for the people who've suffered through this, but you also feel badly you feel badly for everybody who's suffering in whatever way it is. That's it.
Yeah, 90% of the people, whether they've contracted the disease or the virus or know somebody, you know, they're all suffering. You know, at some level, either
we all know people
work
who've
or
had problems
financially.
in business.
Yeah, exactly.
Financially.
Yeah, almost all of our clients. Not all of them, but almost all of them have had some issues. Yeah.
Yeah, and then anybody who works in a restaurant or a bar.
Yeah, just out of a job.
They're just
hotel.
Yeah.
A lot of our friends are in hotels. A lot of our friends are in hotel business because we do a lot of our events in hotels, and they've been, you know, unemployed for, you know, a couple months as well.
Yeah.
So
TV is one of the few businesses that has continued.
Yeah, TV, internet's doing well. You know, the big players
with
like
restrictions.
Amazon.
I mean, I couldn't have had you in the studio.
A
month ago.
Yeah, true.
You know, 3 weeks ago. Yeah. I mean, as a person who doesn't work here, I talked to Nick Richardson in the studio, but we couldn't have outside guests.
Right.
And you had to sign a form.
Yeah, saying that I didn't have COVID-19, which I signed, and actually I took the test and I showed him the test as well. And
I took the test too.
Negative, so good.
This last Monday.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, good to take them every once in a while just to make sure.
Yeah, well, you'd have to take it. This is another thing.
Every
It's
day.
very confusing. You have to take it all the time because people don't show symptoms and you never know when you might get it.
Well.
But apparently if you're in reasonable health and you're not stressed out and surrounded by carriers of the thing at some event, then you're likely to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, even with all the numbers, there's still low numbers in Poland, right? There's other things.
That was the point.
You could
They're
probably
low.
catch tuberculosis easier.
Poland's
in
done
Poland,
a very good job,
yeah.
and a lot of people say it's been a good model, which is amazing because Poland has been taking so much flack and so much of the press undeservedly, I think.
But I think that's almost, I mean, if you look around the world in world press, every leader's getting blasted.
Everyone is,
for anything. There's no one that
Every
they're
leader.
saying, "Oh, this guy's done a good job," because
They're not,
Just,
yeah.
There's everyone's getting, you know, that's what the press loves to write, is that things are going wrong. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and we see. But now the reason we talk about I brought up the United States is because it's even affecting Poland because of the relationship between the United States and Poland growing closer and closer all the time. And Poland is a huge ally of the United States now. And that translates to commerce and and to communication. You know, one of the television stations in Poland is owned by Discovery.
Right.
You know, American company.
American investment. Yeah.
And but the other thing is that with the protests that have been going on in the United States, you're having protests here. You're having protests all throughout Europe, albeit they're smaller, and people aren't burning things down, thank goodness. And I don't think they would in Poland. There's no reason. But there's no reason to do it in the
There's no reason
States
to burn it
either.
down in the U.S. either. Yeah,
You're from Los Angeles, so you remember the Rodney King.
Sure, of course.
And other people will remember, at least from history classes or whatever, the Martin Luther King
Right.
situation.
And the Watts riots in '66.
And the Watts riots in the 60s. And being from LA, you're very familiar with that. And the history of it, right?
Yeah, I think they're just sad in L.A. that we didn't actually start this one ourselves. So, you know, we're just...
You're lagging behind.
Probably Minnesota jumped on the, jumped in first and
But it's interesting how it
off,
spreads. And there are hardly any black people in Poland at all. So it's very interesting that people would protest about a black man or any person being killed in the United States. It seems to me odd.
Seems strange, doesn't it? Like maybe someone is stirring the pot and making this happen as opposed to just people
But it's
upset.
on the media puts it out there. But it just shows how connected we are. And I wonder if here's what I thought. But remember during Solidarity, when somebody was being imprisoned or whatever, and, or died in Poland,
right?
When Jerzy Popiełuszko died in Poland. That was a huge story in the United States.
True, yeah. Well.
And that was during martial law. So our common humanity seems to translate.
And also the whole U.S. and the U.S. government was very pro-Poland and very pro-Solidarność, yeah?
They were, and they still are.
Yeah.
And a lot of those same people are involved in the government now. But I think the other thing is, I just wonder how much of this is really about this guy dying, or if it's not about other things.
Well,
more deep-seated.
I think it's just it's probably a group of troublemakers trying to cause more problems in the U.S. than this actual incident.
Yeah, what do you think about this defunding the police? Can you imagine a society if we had no police? I mean, I heard Bill Maher going, "Yes, we need to." Bill Maher really surprised me. Sometimes he's on the money, and sometimes he's just crazy.
Yeah, well, I very rarely agree with anything he says, but there's a couple of times that he comes up with something.
I met him in L.A. one time.
Did you? Yeah.
When I was living in L.A., I was doing this fruit.
It'd be great to have him out here.
I was doing the fruit business.
Yeah.
He's very short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That explains a little bit of his personality, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. He's got Napoleonic complex. But he's very sort of ironic, even in person. Yeah, but I don't know. He doesn't seem like a horrible guy. But he does have the answers for all of us.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah, for free, exactly. Yeah, he's happy to tell us all what to do.
Somebody said that. I think it was Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
Said he's got the answers for all of us for free.
Yeah,
Let's ask Bill Maher.
Yeah, he'll tell us.
But he was saying that, I think I lost the thread, but I was just watching his latest broadcast, and he was...
is he for defunding the police? Is he one of them?
Defunding the police.
He wants to,
yeah, he was saying, oh, yeah, it seems like the police are... Well, the police are too militarized in the United States. This is true. They don't need, you know, armored personnel carriers and things like that.
Well, some of the guys they're fighting.
Well, if it develops that way.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I don't think they should defund the police. I mean, in L.A., they spend $250 million a year on the police, and I think that it's probably not enough even. And, you know, you really feel it, I think, when you're a resident, a law-abiding resident living in L.A., and you really see the police are overwhelmed and really can't help you if you need something.
There's a lot of craziness going on.
Yeah, so I think
these are societal problems that have to do, you know, with a lot of homeless people and a lot of poverty at the bottom. That needs to be addressed. And one of the things I like about Poland is they're addressing even a so-called right-wing government, which doesn't really mean that much because all governments are a mixture now. But let's say a government that concedes the importance and promotes the importance of traditional values, which I think both of us agree, automatically agree with that, is also doing a lot of social readjustment.
For sure, yeah. I mean, this is definitely building the social net.
Promoting the family.
Yeah.
Wanting to raise the basic incomes of people working, the minimum wage, not a basic income, but a minimum wage, and promoting all that. This is part of a mixed economy, and maybe that needs to be promoted more in the United States. But this program is more about Poland, of course. Yeah, we're in Poland.
Well, I think in the U.S., you know, these people also have to want to get jobs and want to contribute to the whole, right, to the good. And I think there's a lot of people that you can help some people, but you can't help everybody if they don't want to be helped. And I think in the U.S. you have a lot of those people at that level that don't want your help.
Well, they just, I mean...
To get better. You know, they may want free money and, you know, things. But
what do we do with those people?
Well, that's a good question. You know, we got to somehow motivate them or not let them get to that point.
How do you motivate so-called poor people who've already got, you know, iPhones and motor cars and
brand new TVs just recently. I guess a lot of them have brand new TVs as well.
A lot of these people have better electronics than I do.
I think they all do now. From watching TV.
They all do.
Yeah, they all do. Yeah,
but I mean, it's you make light of it. I guess it's not really funny at all. I mean, yes, you can make everything's funny at a certain point. It's how you approach it, but not to make light of the fact that this is serious damage being done.
Yeah, well, I think Amazon, the Amazon campus just got burned down, too. They burned down Amazon. What's the point of that?
They did? Where?
Yeah. One of the Amazon campuses in the U.S., so I just was reading it as I was coming up here. So another thing destroyed, for no reason. And I think it's more just, you know, it's probably also some group trying to stir up problems and, you know.
Which group? I wonder which groups. And I wonder why... For example, in the United States, the FBI isn't infiltrating these groups and stopping them. Rather than, you know, persecuting the president...
Well, the FBI has been very busy, just doing a lot of nothing, as you know, last year.
Well, so they're persecuting the president and going after people. I mean, say what you will about Donald Trump, his personality, but he employs a huge amount of people that do very well off of the creation of jobs, and all of those people pay tax, and all those businesses pay tax. And, you know, it's not easy to create that kind of wealth.
Well, I imagine the FBI does have some people infiltrating these places, but they were also quite busy last year working on other things instead of probably on what would be more important right now.
Well, these people are undermining the very ability to continue life as normal, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a virus to me. It's as big a virus as it's a worse virus than the one that we've been quarantined over.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably caused more problems than this actual Chinese coronavirus,
Yeah, and call it what it is.
Yeah,
I agree. The Chinese coronavirus. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's, you know.
But, you know, in Poland, if you let's contrast Poland with what's going on in the United States. We already said something about the mixed economy and how that's working, and a lot of really fine inroads have been made to elevate the lives of the people, or to
Yeah, I mean,
to make more equal
the government's
lives.
really brought up a lot of, especially in these rural areas, a lot.
Yes.
I mean, one of the things is with this plus 500, where you get 500 zlotys for each child. Yeah, it's a few rules to it, but basically it.
Up to 18, is it?
Yeah, and then and so maybe in Warsaw it hasn't done a whole lot, but in other cities and towns around Poland,
lots of people.
Been like
And
maybe
you don't
their
want
only
the
money.
population to decline.
No.
As a wave of immigration continues to come, and as you actually, I mean, Poland has more immigration than any other country in Europe.
Oh, okay.
When you count the, there are 33,000 Indians or Indian subcontinent Asians, and there are 1.2 or 3 million Ukrainians. Of course, next door neighbors.
Right.
A lot of Belarusians as well.
Yeah. Poland's becoming
so
more of a attractive place to
and
be.
everybody's complaining about Poland. They don't like foreigners. It's not true.
Yeah. There's a lot here.
Yeah. And they've even accepted a guy from Los Angeles.
Strange,
and a guy from Virginia, a guy from
yeah.
California, a guy from Virginia, which is great, and thanks for that. But saying that Poland doesn't have immigration is ridiculous.
No, there's a lot of
why don't
immigration.
journalists write that? You know, I don't understand. I mean, they're not doing their homework. They're not doing their job. You can criticize. You may not like some of the things that are going on with the Constitution, but actually, if you look in supposed attacks on the Constitution, actually, if you look into the history of it, you'll find that there are reasons for this too, and very solid reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think about what's going on in the U.S.?
What do I think about it? I think about it a lot. I read the Drudge Report.
Yeah, okay. Good.
Every day.
Yeah.
The Drudge Report, for those of you who don't know, is very good if you want to see news about the United States, because it is a compilation of news across the board.
Yeah. I don't read it every day, but I do read it probably once a week when they shoot it in, and I always pick up some interesting bits on it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
What's been going on there.
In-depth reporting.
And of course, I have my mother who sends me, what's going on every day.
Now
on
we know
Skype.
the source. Yeah,
I'm getting huge amounts of stuff on Skype from my mom, and also emails with articles and her own opinions and stuff like that. She's very active in following what's going on. She really,
good.
She loves this stuff. And she loves history and culture and all, culture, history and art and that sort of thing. But so I do follow it every day. What do I think about it? I think that we have to break up some monopolies at the top. We need a Teddy Roosevelt. We need to go back 100 years, 120 years, and look and examine what Teddy Roosevelt was doing. Teddy Roosevelt, a great Republican, a man of the upper class.
Elected 4 times, re-elected 3 times. But
3 times,
ran 4 times.
He ran as the Bull Moose Party. And the thing about, which is a great story, he was making a speech when he ran against Woodrow Wilson in 1912. He made a speech in Buffalo, New York, which we've also seen in the news with the protests. The whole police special task force of the police resigned yesterday, because they pushed a protester. Poor fellow fell down. They didn't push him hard. It was like, but
when you're out there,
he shouldn't have been taunting the police.
When you're out there in these protests, you got to be ready for anything.
No, I've been in war zones many times, and I would not taunt the police.
Yeah, well,
you can speak rationally, but you can't taunt people and expect not to come up with things. But Teddy Roosevelt was making a speech in Buffalo during that presidential campaign against Wilson. Bull Moose Party, it was called, and somebody shot him. But he had was it a book or something in his pocket which stopped. No, he didn't. That's not true. That's apocryphal. His thick chest muscles stopped the shot.
Nice. Okay.
Because he was very physically fit.
Yeah.
And he kept speaking for 2 hours
with
after
a bullet
being shot.
Holy cow.
We need guys like that again. Remember how Reagan was when he got shot?
Yeah.
Very brave about it. We need a lot more bravery and a lot less complaining. We need people to do a little bit extra instead of saying, oh, it's not my job. It's not my fault. We need people to step up, do a little more, be a little more cheerful about life. And they'll find that life is a little better.
Yeah.
Be a little more professional about their approach to things. But anyway, Teddy Roosevelt broke up the great monopolies of the time, including the oil companies, steel, coal, etc. And he also looked carefully at the unions to help develop those. And also, he created the first national parks. So he was a real conservative.
Right, yeah.
Conserving our natural heritage, and also he also promoted the reservations for Indians and creating and actually handing them over to the Indians and those kind of things, the Native Americans, of course. And but he, being an aristocrat and an educated aristocrat, actually was battling with the people of Wall Street and owning the big corporations to say, look, what about middle-class America, and what about small businesses? These people need an opportunity. So we're going to break up these companies. You're not going to be able to control all the prices, Mr. Rockefeller, any longer.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to compete, because competition is capitalism. Yeah? Because if you do just corporatism, that's like Mussolini.
Yeah.
That doesn't work either. That's the extreme fascism. So I think that we have to look to the top. We have to break up these monopolies, and that includes Amazon. I agree with Elon Musk completely.
Yeah, they're not very happy, but yeah, he doesn't want Amazon.
Well, it needs to be said. It needs to be said.
True.
And also we need to look to no child in America should be going hungry at night. We have plenty of surplus food. We need to organize this thing and have a little more compassion. Conservatism is about compassion. Otherwise, we're going to end up with people running to totalitarianism for short-term solutions that ends in a debacle.
Yeah.
And we sit
always
in
starts
Poland,
out good,
and we
then
know
it ends
it.
up bad. Yeah.
We sit in Poland, and we know what happens. Poland is a great example. So journalists should be looking at Poland as a great example of bad history, what happens when totalitarianism takes over. And we know the Germans and the Russians, and we know partition. Also a kind of totalitarianism, a subjugation.
Sure.
And we need to re-examine that and understand that small business and the individual rights are the way forward, and education. And Poland values education.
And also, I think in the U.S., people need to take responsibility for their own actions.
Everyone has to.
It's not just the leadership.
Yes,
It's
you're right.
if you're being a criminal or doing criminal activity, you are taking a risk.
Yes.
And
responsibility is
you
part
have
and
to
parcel.
take your own responsibility, and it's not always an easy life of what to do and how to do things. But I think if you're committing crimes, you got to understand whether it's the police or someone that you're.
Well, you're referring to the fellow who was killed.
Well, not only him, but
but actually he had a criminal record. But he was, by all accounts I've read, which not everything, but some, that he was turning his life around. But a bit of a relapse on the day that he decided to pass a watery banknote, $20 banknote. I mean, that's not right. You're ripping those people off you're buying from in your own neighborhood. Then you're inebriated. They said he also had methamphetamine in his blood. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But and then you're getting in a car and trying to drive away, say. This is wrong.
Does he deserve to be killed? No, but I don't think that was the plan anyway.
No, but it's like my father used to say, if you put yourself in a bad situation, you have to be aware that you might get bad results.
Well, look, we've all done things that we were like, oh, that didn't work out very well.
Absolutely.
And we've
I'd be
all
the
paid
first
the
to admit
price,
that.
and, many times. And, I
Absolutely.
mean, it's whether it's that or anything else. I think it's somebody that, you've got to take responsibility for your own actions. And, the police.
But he was resisting arrest as well. And I can tell you from experience being around the cops in crowds, when they say move, you better move.
Well, you know, they're
Yeah.
also in danger, you know, and they're trying to keep everybody else out of danger at the same time and themselves. So,
Correct.
you know, it's not a, you know, I think one good example is
Policemen are people too.
they seem to be, yes.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, when I was, you know, for sure when I was younger or a teenager, if the police had brought me back to my parents' house and said, hey, your kid was being disrespectful,
I get in trouble.
I would much rather go with the police than be there with my dad.
Absolutely. I would have been in a huge
That
amount
would
of
have been
trouble.
If then there might have been a death, but it would have been caused internally.
At least a wounding.
Yeah, it would have been
yeah.
you know, and you know, it was always brought up. Hey, respect the police, respect the people that are in charge
Yeah,
of things.
I think
and don't commit any crimes, and you will have less problems.
Part of this is the stress on the police by lack of respect as well. And people need to understand, the police need to understand that that's a human being. I think, you know, overwhelming amounts of time, amount of times in my personal contact with the police, if you smile and you say yes or no, sir,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am, no, ma'am,
You get a lot better results.
correct, and they will treat you with respect. But if you're, you know, if you're caught red-handed,
Yeah,
you got to expect you're going to get in trouble.
exactly.
Okay, it's that simple, and
That's life. You know, you gotta, you know.
and that's called being responsible, isn't it?
Being a responsible adult. This
So-
wasn't a 10-year-old kid that didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah. So what I think, to go back, is people need to be more responsible individually and more respectful of who they're dealing with in life.
Yeah, not only the police.
Smile a
yeah.
little bit. Doesn't cost anything. You know what the monks say? The monks say it's easier to be optimist than a pessimist.
You hang around a lot of monks, don't you? I know you do. Yeah,
I read that.
Because
I
they're
read
making that alcohol in those little places, and you're probably.
No, my friend Robert
tested 'em.
Brulewski used to say, Will, you're always smiling. It's unusual in Poland.
Yeah.
He says, you're always smiling, and I know you're not drunk all the time. And I know you're American, so that partly is the reason. Robert was, of course, a great musician
Yeah.
who was killed 2 years ago, and I made music. We had a band together. But it was one of his last
Well, we're smiling
ventures.
because we're in Poland as well. Yeah, it's
But we're
always a good
smiling.
reason,
Yeah,
so,
it just makes life easier, right?
yeah.
And if we do have differences, we have different ethnic differences, different language, we have language differences, all of these things, cultural differences. Smiling is a better way of starting off, isn't it? Yeah.
But I don't really believe that all these riots are just caused from this incident. You know, it's just a buildup of different things, and some groups just stirring up problems and putting it out there.
Or they're
and-
jumping in.
Yeah, they're jumping in, and they're delivering bricks. You've probably seen those delivering bricks to certain
I saw
things,
that.
and
I
you know
saw
they're
that.
more taking advantage of the
Yeah, but a
situation.
lot of these people living in mommy and daddy's basement or wherever,
Absolutely,
attic,
and angry.
They have plenty of time on their hands, and they would think they're socialists. They don't know what it means, and they have no idea what it means. I'm reminded of the line of Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca, which anyone can watch, and everybody knows the film, I suppose.
Everybody should watch
If you-
Casablanca.
yeah. And he goes, the Germans go, the German guy, what's his name, Stryker or something like that, he goes, we will be in New York soon, Mr. Rick. And Humphrey Bogart goes, I would advise invading New York. Which is right.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
because of that individualism and the fact that people feel they can take care of themselves, unite together. It used to be the spirit. I mean, could you imagine the Germans or the Russians trying to invade the United States? Ridiculous.
Well, it'd be pretty
It's not gonna
tough.
happen.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
pretty tough going, you know.
Yeah, but I don't know about now. Watch Casablanca for some really good instruction about how to take responsibility. It's a great role model. There's some great role models in that film.
Absolutely.
The way they used to be, yeah?
A lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch.
And it's
it
a lot
anyway.
of fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Ingrid Bergman is beautiful.
Yeah. Nice.
Craig, we got to wrap it up.
Oh man, already.
There's
okay.
so much to talk about. You and I could sit here for another hour, no problem.
Easily.
But the good folks who've been working with us on this, I want to thank the crew in there, and I want to thank Nicholas Richardson, our producer today, for
Nick,
taking
we
the time.
expect to see some good nice baked goods out here next time.
Yeah, we're going to get some
Yeah.
baked goods for the whole crew.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. There's Will. Thank you, Craig, for being in the studio. We won't shake hands.
Thanks, Rick. Great to see you.
Yeah.
We'll keep
Super.
healthy.
Okay. All right, everybody. We'll see you on the next edition, and out there, have fun, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're looking good, and we got our eyes on you.